Hello from Indonesia. My name is Rahayu Oktaviani, and I'm a project manager in Javan Gibbon Research and Conservation Project, which working to conserve one of the endangered primate species. And today I would like to share a bit about our works on the ground and also share about how pandemic impacted the primate conservation organization in Indonesia. So let me start with the gibbon distribution itself in Asia. So about 20 gibbon species live in Asia, ranging from India, China to Southeast Asia. And in Indonesia itself, non-species are inhabit the three main islands. The first four species can be found in Sumatra, another four in Borneo, and one species is still survive in one of the most densely populated island on Earth over here. And that species is called the Javan gibbon or silvery gibbon. So same as like the other gibbon species, Javan gibbon is listed as the endangered on the IUCN Red List because of the habitat loss and also the illegal threat to keep the baby as pet. And in fact, Javan gibbon is one of the popular primate species to sell in social media. And in the term of the ecology, so Javan gibbon is spend their time mostly in the canopy as arboreal species, live in the pair with the social monogamy system, and they are the fruit eaters or the frugivore. They are also highly territorial that usually shown by produce a song from the female. And Javan gibbon is one of the two species who do not do the duet between female and male beside the Hylobates closi in Mentawai Island, Indonesia. And it's not complete to describe about this amazing species without hearing their beautiful song. So let's hear it. So that's the great call from the female of the Javan gibbon. And if we talk again about the threats for the Javan gibbon, like the habitat loss and also the forest that keeps shrinking in Java, let's take a look at this picture. So this is Java Island, with only 10% of the original rainforests are still remaining. And Javan gibbons are only living in the western to the central part of the island. While here, if you see the red borders over here, that's the forest pitches that already fragmented as the Javan gibbon's habitat. And here, our project takes place in one of the last harbor of the wild population of Javan gibbon in West Java. And it's called as the Gunung Halimun Salak National Park in West Java. And our site itself is located in the one forest that called Citalahap Forest in the heart of this national park, a stunning sub-mountain forest as home for many endangered species besides the Javan gibbon, such as the Javan leopard, the leaf monkey, slow race, hawk eagle, and many more. And it has the boundary with the village, the agricultural land, and also the tea plantation that could be a potential risk in the future that can give pressure to the habitat unless we're working closely with the community and involve them in the conservation effort to gather the supports. Because of that, we developed three main programs to support the conservation of the Javan gibbon, through behavior and ecological research, the conservation education program, and also the community engagement, collaborate with the local community. We also collaborate with the National Park Authority to support them by provide the baseline data about the Javan gibbon that can be used for population management plan in this national park and hopefully to other regions. And we also developed the capacity building about the monitoring method that we expect this activity can be adopted in different areas of the Gunung Halimun Salak National Park. And this time I would like to emphasize more to the root of the project, which is the regular monitoring and also the behavioral research of the Javan gibbon. And our project is actually the long-term research that has been conducted since 2007, initiated by the Ewha Womans University from South Korea and collaborated with the IPB University-Indonesia. And it's still running until today as one of the longest study for the wild Javan gibbon population. and helping by the trained research assistants as a part of the local community members, we conducted the research while we also assisting the national park to secure the habitat. And until now, we are following three habituated tree groups in the daily basis. We call them as the group A over here, the group B in the middle, and also the group S. And actually, as a good news that I revealed for the first time, a new member just born in the group S this month, make it a total 15 individuals to be monitored. And to give the context about the home range for these three groups, Group A, Group B, and also the Group S have the overlapping home range area in Chitalhab Forest. And with the average home range is about 32 hectares, and it's larger if we compare with the Javan gibbons home range in the lowland area. And while focusing our activity to monitor these three groups, we also recognize more than 5 groups are living closely with the Group A, Group B, and the Group S. And as one of the long-term study results and also collaboration from the primatologists in multi-countries, we are currently working on the demography paper that shows some interesting results related with the lifespan, dispersal age, and also the birth range. Like, for example, this is the picture of the Kim Kim. We call him as Kim Kim. He is the subadult from the group B, and he dispersed at about 9 years old. And before he moved from the natal group, we found he experienced increasing aggression from the same-sex adults. And this result show like the observation of the individual primates must be made over many years to understand their behavior. And of course, the long-term research is vital for understanding and also protecting our closest living relatives. However, when the pandemic hit Indonesia in exactly 1 year ago, it brought us to the situation that we were never prepared for. At the time, to minimize the spread of the COVID, the government announced to close the border and other restrictions on the movement. And it also continued with the closure of the conservation area, including our site in the Gunung Halimun Salak National Park. And we never experienced this kind of situation that leave us with significant impact, such as to stop the research and the monitoring activity abruptly until the further notice from the authority. While we also had to send back the student from the abroad, and it gave the big hole on her data collection and also interrupted the long-term data collection. And we already have like the conservation education program since 2018, but then it had to be stopped as well due to the pandemic, and it changed all of the plan and funding crisis because many donors stopped the funding and we had to cut off our budget like about almost 40% and save it mainly for our field staff and the essential costs because we don't want to sacrifice the local community who employ by us. And to get like the bigger picture about how actually pandemic impact other organizations that related with the primate conservation in Indonesia like us, I distributed a brief survey to 13 organizations that working with endemic and the wild primates such as orangutan, gibbon, macaques, and others on 4 islands in Indonesia. I asked 3 main questions like whether the pandemic have positive impact in your work, and only 36% agreed with the statement. And then about the negative impact from pandemic, 93% experienced the negative impact of the pandemic to their organizations. And if we are talking about the biosafety protocol, all of on-the-ground organizations understand the risk and following the regulation and protocol to work with non-human primates in the COVID situation and also follow the national regulation as well. And in more detail, the pandemic has positive impact in one organization that work in the region with low COVID cases, and they still able to conduct the field activity. And they got the benefit in less disturbance for data collection because less visitors are coming to the site. And another positive impact was related with the human-primate interface, especially in provisioning that commonly happen with macaques. This is an interesting example shown by the Copenhagen Zoo project in Baluran National Park in East Java, where the researchers found the macaque group that used to forage in the tourism site like beach during the lockdown, and there's no visitors feeding them. They moved to find their own natural foods in savanna and also in the secondary forest. And it was a good opportunity actually to have the detailed observation for this kind of the behavior, but it couldn't be done due to limited personal restriction and also the travel restriction during the COVID. And this kind of the example of the behavior change from macaque could be temporary unless the government, the primatologists, and also the organization take action to promote more permanent change to develop a regulation and also to increase public awareness about the risk of zoonosis. That's also one of the positive impact. The second positive impact felt by the some organization, that awareness about the risk of zoonosis is rising, especially for the field staff and also for the local community. While there is opportunity to improve the human and primate interface during the COVID, the challenge and negative impact experienced by 13 primate conservation organizations who joined the survey. The survey results show 5 main negative impact facing by primate conservation organization. Start from the postpone or like the cancellation of the research activity, the new project as well, especially the ones that related with the community meeting, and also difficulty for mobilization for rescue or like for the evacuation due to travel restriction for some organization that working in the evacuation process for the primates and in the conflict between human and primates. And for some organizations that rely on the volunteers overseas as well as the researchers to help the project financially and extend the research, the pandemic has slowed it down. And funding crisis is a big problem for almost all of the organizations because of the budget cutting, and many donors are struggling financially while the grant application also got delayed. And sadly, some organizations had to reduce the amount of field staff, and the wildlife poaching is rising due to the unguarded area. And last year, the IUCN SSC Primate Specialist Group has released an advisory for organizations work with primates both in wild and captivity setting during the COVID. And it was applied with all organizations participated in our survey, and like wearing mask, clothing, wearing the clean clothing and disinfected worksite frequently, and also wear the PPE during rescue and evacuation, conduct the test frequently for all field staff, and quarantine is a must for the staff that coming from other regions. And this is the most important thing, to keep the distance with the non-human primates. And this year, the Indonesian government are distributing the vaccine, and hopefully we can get it soon, especially for the field staff in the remote area. And in our organization itself, when our site was closed, the local community members who depend to the income from the research activity got the negative impact in their livelihood. And we don't want to keep it longer. So in May 2020, we discussed with the National Park Authority to give the permit for our local team that basically they're living in the village and didn't go anywhere to be able to check the gibbon once a week. So even though we couldn't collect the data. And they also help the National Park Authority to prevent illegal activities in the park and still secure the earning. And in August 2020, when the government released the statement of limited opening of several national parks, we adapted the new protocol, and we were really grateful with the support from the National Park Authority. And this year, collaborated with our university partners in Korea and Indonesia, we still able to continue the data collection needed by the students overseas who couldn't continue the research, and back to the site by one method, by train the local researchers, transfer knowledge, and made the agreement for joint publication. All of these steps is not only consider the safety of the primates and researchers, but also the safeguard the health and economic impact on the local staffs and their families. As we work closely with the local community, we are responsible to prevent the disease transmission and protect the community. So last year, we distributed about more than 100 reusable masks and also the hand wash soap from the proceeds of selling our merchandise. It also gave us opportunity to raise awareness about the good sanitation, the risk of zoonosis to the entire village through the poster distribution. And another necessary thing is to educate the young generation, because when the school closed and we couldn't continue our regular conservation program, we shifted the approach by develop books related with the coronavirus and also other education materials about the wildlife that can read and do alone by the children from home. And we also take the opportunity to maximize the use of the social media for science communication to reach more people and also to mainstreaming conservation and the Javan gibbon. Because as we know, during the lockdown, people are glued to their phones and check out the social media oftenly. And we use this opportunity to spread the messages. So finally, the pandemic has prompted us to develop a new protocol and system that work not only for the safety of primates we're working with, but also with the local community and the partnership between the organization, even though we are still in the surviving mode due to the funding efficiency. But we realize it is necessary to strengthen the collaboration with all stakeholders involved in the primate conservation on the ground to tackle illegal activities and the problematic human-primate interface. In the aspect of the research and the fieldwork, it is important to acknowledge and invest to build the capacity of the local researchers and also the local community as part of the conservation effort to be able for the research to be sustained. And also we have to communicate effectively, collaborate to break the research knowledge gaps and do joint publication to leave the parachute science behind. And the One Health approach is also important to be shared widely to the community surrounding the primate organization, because the One Health approach seems like it's just like a jargon at the first, and the definition is still in the ivory tower, especially in our country. So it's really necessary to spread the words and apply it in our workplace. And at the end, I would like to thank to all of our partners, our collaborators, and the donors who keep supporting us to continue working to conserve the last small ape from Java. We might in the crisis, and we are not the one, and we won't give up. So thank you for listening my presentation. Please let me know if you have any question by visiting our social media or website. So thank you.